Hello people, TF32 back. As you see, I got a new shirt, and a new hat must go with a new shirt to show my true sock spirit. But that's beyond the point. Well guys, you go to school with me. This is it. This is our final year together, and we gotta make the most of it. As much senioritis as there may be to spread around the entire school, we have to take it all very seriously. We need to do the best we can to have a really successful graduating class. And we're not just upperclassmen anymore. We're as high upperclassmen as we could possibly get. And we only have 1 year together. So yeah guys, this is it. Our last year together. So, if many of you have a very successful junior year this year, please do the same for senior year. I beg of you. It would be really great to be able to support the class as much as we could, and so we can have a very, very successful graduation. Of class of 2014, I'm TF32, and I say thank you. On to the actual review.
So, this is it. This is the US port of Kid Icarus, Angel Land Story. Now, for those of you who didn't see my last video, the Japanese version, it has a save file. It has better music too, but no password like this one. So I could skip to the final stage if I wanted, but I'm just here to do like the first level since this game is pretty hard. And the beginning, yeah, it's pretty high-pitched, and I don't like it. But, hey, we're here to have fun. Nice little trick here, you can squat and move. Pretty nice. We're introduced to the Mega Man-style life bar. And, like I said in an earlier review, I referred to Kid Icarus, and this is where the multiples of 7 begin. Believe it or not, the 7-digit life bar makes a very little number of appearances in Action 52. But every enemy you destroy drops a heart, which is this game's currency. The first enemy you encounter here, I actually do not know the names at all. I'll just put it in annotations for real this time. And yeah, that red square up there, that is your life bar, and wow, I did not expect to get by there like that. Those eyeball enemies, I think those are Medusas. And I think this is the first game that I actually know of where you can actually squat down. You can squat down and drop down platforms. I think that's the first game that I know of where you could do that. But I don't want to go through the tedium of going through all this over again, so jump cut. Before we jump cut, these rooms right here, they usually contain something. This one contains absolutely nothing but lava that can harm you. Why that room is there, I have no idea. And once you enter and leave, you cannot go back in. Onward. Alright, we're now at where we left off. Time to deal with these Medusas. And now that thing that I just picked up, they will turn all the enemies into keys. But now we meet death. In these rooms, this room right here has enemies, but I do not like dealing with them because they do so much damage if they hit. They take about a quarter of your health. So let's try and leave. And I have 1 hit left and I'm dead. 1 hit's gonna kill me unless I grab that wine glass. But Death himself, he takes a crap load of health too. But if he's on the same level as you, he's very likely to land he's more than likely to run right toward you, and he will drain a quarter of your health. Now, keep in mind, this is one of the few games I know of where scores actually do matter, where you're trying to beat a game. Games like Pac-Man and Centipede don't count, and nice glitch. Don't even attempt to defeat him, because they take a lot of hits, unless you have a more powerful arrow. Also, I forgot to mention he will summon miniatures of himself, which also do a boatload of damage. Let's see if I can make it past this first stage. Hey! Alright. There we go, we cleared it. I think you have to get at least 20,000 points to be able to increase your health by another 7 units. But the bad thing about this is that your life is never replenished. Fortunately, I think there is a wine glass up there that you can get. So, yeah, that was purposeful. This second stage, it's a different color. There are no lives, but you can always continue. But this actually gets very annoying in dungeons because they get pretty confusing. There was no way I could have gone by that. And the ice physics, they are a bit tricky. Especially, well, when you're in midair. I really should not have wasted that, because these enemies... Alright, never mind. Half a heart represents 5, a small one represents 1, the hearts, and a full one, you will get those by defeating Death and many other very durable enemies. They represent 10. This is a store, but unfortunately I don't have enough hearts. But when you die, the previous amount of hearts that you got, it will be saved, so you won't have to worry about buying this and then end up having wasted your hearts. The items are very expensive, much like in Zelda, for those of you who have played that. I'd be very surprised if you didn't know what Zelda was, and I didn't know there was a platform there. You would. And now the 3D Classics port of this is almost a direct port of the disk system version, except for a few things. This game, it's pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie, it is. I have never beaten this game. Not even through save states, because I never found a good time to actually play it. But let me tell you, staying at this tiny life bar, it is hell. Because enemies come from all over the place. Especially when you just crouch. Ducking seems to be one of the most effective ways to dodge things, but you really need to be careful with it. Because you could just go through these platforms like that. And also, I'd like to note the mid-air physics. As I'm ascending in the air, I am holding the left button. It actually will not let you move in the other direction until you finish moving up. And that's pretty annoying to have to deal with. It's actually pretty tricky to enjoy this game. I will have to say the same about Kid Icarus Uprising. You get a bigger life bar, yeah, but I did not mean to do that. But Kid Icarus Uprising, the reason I hate that game is because of the control where you have to use the stylus and the gamepad all at the same exact time. That's why I hate it. I'm sorry, I know a lot of you will reject my negativity for this, but that is just what I genuinely think of the game. It just ruins the legacy of other games such as Super Mario 3D Land and many others. I can honestly say I enjoy this game better, or enjoy this more. Another store. All these do various items, but I will just leave that for you to discover. I think this is all I really have to show of this game. Showing you a walkthrough of this, oh, that would just be a bunch of tedium. So, onto the topic of this game. Yeah, I have the cover of the Disk System game on there. This one, it could be a little better if the difficulty wasn't so hard. Zelda was hard too, but for many different reasons. This one, it could be a lot better. It's a decent platformer, but in the first 3 levels, it is almost impossible to get through the first 3 stages, at least from my experience, without save states. That is just... I just can't believe that they would make a game like that. It's an okay game, but just not the best I've ever seen. There definitely could have been better. Like Super Mario, that's a platformer, but that was so much more successful than this. Zelda was an overhead, and that one you could at least save your data. You can do that in the Disk System version, and even in the Disk System or the NES port, you could use passwords to get to where you last left off. But this one just doesn't live up. It just doesn't live on as long as Mario and Zelda did, or at least do today. So what do I think of it as a whole? There could be some stuff up for improvement, and I count the Uprising game on the 3DS as well. That one, I consider that one to be worse than this one. For those of you who object to me, well, you should not even be watching this. The problem with this is that many physics that were in other games, they just don't really apply here. For example, the ice physics, they could fix that, and they actually did in the Virtual Console port of this on the 3DS. They should... I was gonna say make it so you don't have to do it in one go, but then I remembered the passwords. It's alright, but it just doesn't live up to the title as much as it could. Now, guys, please be wary. The password system for the NES and Virtual Console ports for the Wii are completely different. So for those of you who are trying to put in the codes that worked on the NES on the Wii port, not gonna do you any good. I tried this several times and I realized that the Virtual Console had different passwords. So yeah, that's my analysis of this game in depth as a whole. And this may not be the best you've seen, but again, this is just what I genuinely think. For those of you watching this at the party, I hope you enjoyed this. Elsewhere, I hope you enjoyed this as well. This is the TF32's signing out, and thanks for a great junior year. Let's give it our best this senior year, shall we?